What to do, my gente? Your boys coming through once again. And on today's video, we're going to talk about a sureño from Florencia who landed on the county. And it went all bad. It went all bad. So before we continue with this video and I tell you what took place, do not forget to hit that like, a comment, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, man, hit the subscribe button. It does not take nothing from you. And at the end of the day, just helping the channel. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified. By the way, we're trying to get to 10K by September 9th. If we get to that number, we're going to do the one chip challenge. So support the channel. Let's get to those 10K by September 9th. Need that support. So let's get to this, right? So let's talk about this story because we have heard individuals talking on the channels in where they speak that individuals from LA, I'm not going to say everybody because I have met a lot of individuals from LA that I was hella cool with. And even this individual, I was cool with him, right? And sometimes certain individuals come across different personalities. I believe everybody has one of those guys in their county, you know. Always think that their caca doesn't stink. They think they're better than the next person, and they just throw that in your face, right? Well, that most of the times it's not gonna work, man, because we are prideful individuals. Most of the times we act on reaction, and it goes all bad. So this is what happened on this occasion, right? So the homie from Florencia, termites. He was from the termites. End up doing a pegada, which is crime in Corcoran State, right? I believe they're on the level 3. Somebody, they put a pegada on somebody in the Chajo, right? So they did their thing, caught a case, and they were fighting it in the county. Why? Because they were going to go home. And so they got a hold. They ended up going to the county. His crime ended up, he got a bail out. He ended up going to Santa Maria. I believe he was from Santa Maria. And he stayed right there, right? So the whole time he was right there kicking it with me. I mean, with a lot of homies. It was in a 12-man cell, right? It was in the old county. And at that time, we had 2 pots. It was 2 pots of us. Plus, when it's overflow, it's going to be more people they will send them to a different cell. But the homie was cool. You know, we take spreads. Like every Monday, everybody would pitch in. We do spreads. And we'll kick it right there, having a good time and do the workout, whatever I needed to do, right? After a certain amount of months, right? An individual came from the streets. This is the same individual that I end up having problems later on during my county stay, in where him and his homeboy end up jumping my homeboy, and it went all bad. I already told this story, I believe, last week, if I'm not mistaken. It was somewhere around there, right? So this individual comes from the streets, and for some reason, the homie from Florencia, he didn't like him. It was something about him, didn't like him. One thing I can tell you about the homie from Florencia, he liked to joke around, homie. You know what I mean? So, you know me, man. I'll clown if you clown back, you know? So I don't feel no disrespect. And if we are on the same level, of course, we don't take it to the next level, you know? Don't overdo it, you know? Just a little joke here and there, and that's it, right? Keep it respectful. And that's why I believe I get along with the homie from LA good, right? Not to mention that there's a lot of people from Florencia that do come through the county, right? I think you guys have like homies that live around that area. So later on the way, this individual and the homie from Florencia, they were like brushing. They were not getting along, right? Because I believe the homie from Florencia used to clown on him, right? It went to the point that he was being disrespectful. And that's a big no-no. You know, you have to understand this about respect. Doesn't matter who's who. If they're representing the same thing you're representing, you're gonna show respect. If not, otherwise, it's gonna be all bad. Doesn't matter that you have status in prison, that you did a pegada, that you're a sureño, that you got those tattoos that say you're this and that. It does not matter. You're gonna respect the homie. You know, simple as that. You are not in your county, and if you could disrespect somebody, there's gonna be consequences, right? So I remember one time, this individual ended up complaining because like, hey, I mean, what do you want me to do, bro? Like, can I get down with this individual, right? So he brought it up to the attention of the individual who was in charge of the pot. I'm not gonna say that I was, man. I was a youngster back then, and somebody was in charge of that pot. So they were talking amongst themselves like what's gonna happen, right? Like this guy is crossing the line, being disrespectful to somebody from our county. So you know, we need to make a move on this guy, right? Because that's a no-no. You're not gonna come over here, especially first of all, it's our county. Second of all, we all homies, right? We represent the same shit, and they made an example out of this individual. So as soon as they were done, they already knew what they were gonna do. They talked to the other pot. They the thing is that we all had something in this pot, right? And we talked to the other party, told him what was gonna happen. Hey, look, we're gonna make a move on this guy because of what he's doing, and we're not gonna permit that shit. You know, no está permitido. Once the homies decide to make a move, everybody was told everybody must move on this individual. So everybody move on this individual. They hit him, they jumped him, and eventually they were like, you have to press that button. Because right there is like, it's a cell within a cell. So there's no movement, nobody can hear nothing. So you have to press a button and say, hey man, I can't be here. So they give him an ass whooping of his life, man. Beat him up pretty bad and basically told him, you need to press a button, man. You cannot be right here. That guy was leaking. He had holes in him. They beat him up pretty bad, bro. Again, I didn't have nothing against this individual, but you have to do certain things. Once somebody crosses the line, it's like, man, you have to participate, bro. You have to participate, right? It's like, this is what we're gonna do. Ain't nobody gonna come over here trying to act all tough or be disrespectful towards nobody. And that's what we did. You know, at the end of the day, that individual ended up bouncing. The one individual that he was clowning on was my enemy from the streets. I stayed right there. And he was chill. But from right there, from that point on, I couldn't see this individual the same way, right? One thing is, yeah, we beef out on the streets. You come in the county, it's a whole different thing. But once you cannot handle yours, or at least you're telling on somebody, I'm like, man, that's not cool, right? That's not cool. And I mean, if I was me, even if I got a DP, I would get down with somebody, right? Okay, let's do a one-on-one. And later on, we'll get the DP straight up. But let's do this, right? I'm not going to go over there. Hey, man, I need help. This guy is fucking calling me this, or being disrespectful towards this, or something, right? At the end of the day, you have to be your own man in the county. I do understand there's going to be some rules. But from that point, it was different. Then later on the months, I mean, that's when me and this individual end up having that issue, because him and his homeboy end up jumping my homeboy, who was gonna be released, and they trying to make the excuse there was a 2-on-2, which it was not. I actually went and helped the homie because this individual were jumping him, and at that time I didn't complain about it. I told them, but I didn't push the line. I was like, hey, look, man, this is what happened. They came out, oh no, it was a 2-on-2, but I was like, man, you guys know what's up. But I didn't push the line. I was like, all right, you know, one way or another, I'm gonna get mine. You know, I couldn't get mine because they end up basically getting out of that pot to volunteer to go to the new jail, which it was within like 3-4 days that they came for us, and they were like, hey man, somebody wants to volunteer to go to a new jail, and this fools just bounced to the new jail. But that was the experience. That's basically what happened. And at the end of the day, you have to understand, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, you have to always show respect to the next man. If not, things like this is gonna happen. They make an example of this individual, they beat him up, they poked him, and they'd have him press that button. Basically, once you press that button, you consider no good in the county. So that's what happened. I'm pretty sure he fought the case, got probably like 10 years. But one thing I'm sure that he didn't do, he didn't roll it up. He didn't go to the other side, because those individuals who were on the other side, it was a tank that we were able to see. And we never seen that individual right there. But he did got an ass whooping, and it's something that he will never forget. So one thing I'd like to tell you, that respect goes both ways. I cannot expect respect if you're not giving it, right? So basically, just be respectful to the next man, and trust me, that's just going to take you a long way. So with this being said, we are out to next video. Muchas gracias. Saludos a todos. Take care and be careful with the migra.